Hi, my name is Delicia Jackman. I just closed on my house July 23rd. I actually heard about NACA through a Facebook group that I'm on. I was first in a Facebook group called like the Budgetista or something, and a lot of the people were talking about buying houses and, different lenders that they went through, and a lot of people spoke really highly of NACA. And then so I went on the NACA website and then, just read a little bit about it. A few months ago, I was talking to my sister who actually closed through NACA. She also told me great things about NACA. And then I just started following their official page on Facebook. My first initial appointment, which was February 4th, my counselor was Constance. So he took all my information. He asked me all the questions. At the end of the counseling session, they gave me an action plan. For me, it wasn't too many things, but it was like little minor things here and there that I had to do. So after that meeting, which was about 2 hours long, he gave me another date. So that way I could have all the information that he gave me in the action plan. So he gave me a date for the end of February. And after that, I called him and he told me it would take about a week or so to be qualified. I spoke to him maybe that next week on like a Tuesday, and they hadn't gotten back to me yet through email, but over the phone, he told me that I was qualified and that I could come into the purchasing workshop, which was scheduled for I think the next day. So that was in March. So March 3rd or 10th, one of them, I'm horrible with dates, but around March 10th, I went to the purchasing workshop, and then the next day I was out looking for houses. So I stuck with the NACA in-house agent because, throughout the whole purchasing workshop, he was explaining how, he works with NACA, so he kind of knows the ins and outs and things like that, which ended up being very, very good for me because of the experience that I had after the workshop. So I told him I didn't want my mortgage to be over $1,100, and so he kind of worked with me with those numbers to find out the amount of house that I should be looking for, because you also have to take into account the taxes, the insurance, and things like that all, get combined into that one number. The first initial day that we went out, I probably looked at 5 or 6 properties, and this being my first time ever buying a house, looking to purchase a house, looking at houses on the market, I literally probably fell in love with all 6 of the houses online. Every one of those houses, I'm like, oh my God, this is the house. I don't know how I'm going to even look at these next houses, because this is the house for me. But when we got to each individual house, I was like, oh my God, pictures and the internet they will lie to you. You will think that you're walking into a mansion, and when you get there, it's like a closet. I ended up finding a property in Oakland, and this house was beautiful, and he called, their people, and there was no offers were put in on a house. It had been on the market maybe for a couple of days. We went to go look at the house, and when I say it was beautiful from top to bottom, we went, looked at the house. My 2 kids, I have an older daughter who's 18. We literally fell in love with the house. When I say everything was brand new, from the basement to the roof, everything in there was brand new, beautiful. It was perfect. And I'm like, okay, this is it. Put in an offer on the house. Offer got accepted. We started the whole process. And I didn't know then what I know now, that appreciate a mortgage counselor that is constantly on top of you, or asking you for things, or communicating with you. She, things that I didn't understand, I could call her. She would set up, I don't know what the program was called, but it basically was like a Zoom call. She would set one of those up. I could talk to her. I could text her. email her and she would get right back to me. The appraisal finally came back on the house, and it appraised for less than $45,000 less than what they were selling it for. And so Jerome is like, they're probably going to pull out of the deal because they don't want to lower their price, and Bank of America is not going to pay for, they're not going to pay for a property that is worth less than what the seller is trying to sell it for. So they ended up pulling the deal. A couple of weeks later, I got like my earnest money deposit back. And in between that time, I had been looking at other properties. And then we found actually a couple online, but they houses were flying off the market. As soon as they were put online, the next day they were like pending. So we found a property online in Brooklawn, which is the property that I'm currently at. And it had like 200 or 300 more square feet than the last house. This house has like a shed and a 1-car detached garage. It has the finished basement we want. It has a driveway. It is a 3-bedroom house. So it's 2 bedrooms on the 2nd floor. And then what was, I think, initially the 3rd bedroom was turned into like a reading nook area, kind of like a den. And then there's a stairway up to the 3rd floor. So it's the separate 3rd floor that is actually a whole entire bedroom. Like the whole 3rd floor is a bedroom. It has 2 bathrooms. The 3rd floor has a walk-in closet along with like another closet. The house is beautiful, hardwood floors. It has a foyer area. The front lawn is huge and it's maintenance by the township, which is fantastic. It has lawn space on the side of the house. It has a little wooden deck on the back side of the house. And it's beautiful and my kids love it. Having that in-house NACA realtor was a godsend. Being able to have like that in-house person to kind of, call or, get the ball rolling on certain things was like, when I say amazing, I don't know how many times I thanked him for, doing so many things in order to help me get this house. I chose to get, like the major things fixed that needed to be fixed. So that way, I wasn't moving into a house that I had to come out of pocket for to fix these things. Luckily, the house didn't have a lot of major things wrong with it. So that was like a blessing. Paperwork was submitted. The whole process wasn't really long because I had already did most of the things my first go round, but I had to like resubmit pay stubs, resubmit bank statements. I ended up being approved pending conditions is what shows up on your web file. It was really a great experience, and the Facebook NACA group was like, that is also a godsend because the people on there are amazing. Like they're helpful, and you get this read other people's testimonies, and it kind of gives you like that, okay, I'm not the only person, and it's going to be okay, and we got this, and it's going to get done. So it's kind of just like that. That group grounds you, and it keeps you focused, and it keeps you like in the game. When I was talking to my sister who also went through NACA, she also helped to keep me grounded because she's like, this is the best thing that you're going to get from a mortgage company. Like they have no closing costs, no down payment, no fees, no PMI. It's a ton of benefits, things that they offer after you actually purchase the house, counseling and budgeting and foreclosure assistance, so many different programs and things that they're willing to help you with after you purchase this house. Most definitely would recommend NACA to anybody. I've actually had about, I'm going to say 3 or 4 other people from my job, because they knew I was going through this process, they actually signed up. I really, really, really would suggest, stay in the game. If you're able to stay with NACA I would stay with NACA. And if I had to suggest like realtors, I would definitely go with an in-house realtor. When you're at that finish line and like you need to get certain things done to close, and you don't have that person, that's supposed to be right there with you, helping you along, but you have this NACA in-house realtor that knows all the ins and outs. He knows all the game players, things like that. Like that, that is an asset. I appreciate NACA like everything, because my family will be able to physically own something, something tangible, something that is going to be theirs, and something to, you know, build memories on, and, have family and friends over, and um just be able to live and breathe, and not not paying someone else's, you know, housing costs. Like, this is mine, this is ours. Like, I never really understood what that saying was, that, the benefits outweigh such and such. That that is true. That is true. The benefits definitely outweigh any negative thing that happened throughout this entire process, because, like, I'm a homeowner. I was literally freaking out after I signed the papers. Like, I own a house. Like, I bought a house. Oh my God. Like, I bought a house.